Hey there, this video is all about less annoying forms. The forms feature is one that I think everybody can and should use in their CRM. A form lets you publicly collect information from your contacts. So think website leads, new customers being onboarded, people you're meeting at a conference. Forms automatically enter that data into your CRM, saving you tons of time. Forms are not only great for streamlining data collection, but they can also automate work for you in your CRM. Someone fills out a form on your website, have the CRM create a task for you to follow up with them. Hosting an event, have attendee emails automatically added to your newsletter group. The possibilities are kind of endless when it comes to forms. All you have to do is create it and then start sharing. Today, I'm going to show you how to create your forms and automate some things. Next, we'll talk all about sharing your forms and viewing your submissions. And then finally, we have worked with a lot of customers on setting up their forms. So I'll give you some examples to get inspired by. All right, let's get started. Okay, so creating a form is kind of the longest part of this video, but it's very important to get these all set up right, so stick with me. Also, if you need any help, you can always contact us and we'd be happy to set up a call to go through any of this with you. All right, let's go. First, let's go to the Form Builder section under Settings. Eventually, this page is going to show you all of the forms that you have on your account, but for now, let's create one. I'm going to make a lead form that potential customers on my website can fill out. So because of that, I want it to automatically create a lead record for them in my CRM. Even if this isn't the exact type of form that you're creating, just hang in there. The setup process will be very similar. So I'll name my form first. Everything here is what people filling out this form will see. So I'll also add a little description for them here as well. Now we're going to start customizing all the fields that we want on the form. So you can see there are a few types of fields that you can create. You'll always see the fields that already exist in your CRM for your contacts, companies, and you'll also see pipelines on your account that have fields set up. So basically, if there's already a field in your CRM that you want this data to go into, you'll choose that record or pipeline here. So for my form, I know that I want to collect their name, their email, phone number, as well as their company's name and address. So I will just select those existing fields to build my form. So these icons indicate that they are contact fields, and these icons indicate these are company fields. So my form so far is going to create a new contact, fill out their name, email, and phone, and then it's going to link them to a company with an address. Each field has its own settings as well. Like if you want to make things required or you want to make sure your phone numbers are always listed as work, you can do that here. Now, I also want people using my form to go into my lead pipeline. Stopping here, if you don't know what a pipeline is, pause, go to our pipelines section and learn about those first. That'll be really important to make sure your pipeline is customized the way you want it before you start using pipeline fields on your form. So I want my contact to go into my lead pipeline and I want their source field filled out. And then I'll just rename that field on the form since I want it to kind of read like a question. This option here is for if you want a field on your form that doesn't exist anywhere in your CRM. Like maybe you just want a free form text area for people to type additional info into. And then you can also add an additional description. So I'll just give it a little bit more of a prompt. Okay, our form is made, but I want to point out a couple of settings on the right. These are pretty important. First of all, you can choose whether this form is intake form or an update form. Intake means it'll always create new records out of your submissions. So if this is a place where new contacts can fill out information, you'll make it an intake form. However, if your existing customers are going to be filling out this form, you can change it to an update form instead. If you choose that option, we will use the email address or phone number provided from the contact to match this to their existing record. If no match exists, it will still create a new record for that contact. And you can also adjust the confirmation message that people will see after filling it out. By default, it'll just say something like, thanks for filling out this form. But you can also say, we'll be in touch ASAP, or you could put a link here to, your website or a video you want them to check out after filling out the form. Okay, for my favorite part, automations, this is over here on the right as well. So this part here tells you what's going to happen when someone submits your form. Always good to check this out. So my form is going to create a contact with their email and phone. It's also going to add a company with the address, and it's putting the contact into the lead pipeline of mine with the source field filled out. I also want to have it set me a task so I don't forget to follow up. So you can take as many actions as you need here, whether that's adding a note automatically, assigning that record to somebody else on your team, or putting them in a group, or all three. So once you are all set and happy with your creation, it is a really good idea to test out your form. Here on the right, you can see it in a new tab. So let me fill this out and then submit it. And then we can check out what happened. Okay, now that I've submitted, what happens? First off, it'll send you an email. This is really helpful because most of the time you probably want to do something when a form gets submitted. Like maybe if it's a lead, you want to call them up, or maybe you need to download documents they submitted, things like that. On your form's settings, click here to view that form's submissions. So you can export this if you really need this data in a spreadsheet, or you can click on each submission to view the specifics. Additionally, we will always link right to the record that was created so that you can view and work within that record. For example, filling out that form created this new contact with the email, phone, company name, and address. And on that contact, I can also see the form that they submitted originally. So if I end up changing anything about their contact or lead details, the original submission is right here. This contact is also attached to my lead pipeline with that source field all filled out. And don't forget that task for me to follow up. Pretty easy. So after your form is customized and ready to go, you can really start to share it. If you want to copy a link to send it out, click here. And a copy of that link is saved to your clipboard, so you can share it however. You can email it out, or maybe you want to put that under a button on your website that says contact us. That takes people right to that form just by clicking on that link. If you're a little more technical, you can also copy the embed code and actually embed it directly into your website if you prefer that option. And lastly, these user permissions over here let you decide how other users on your account can access and manage this form as well. There are so many ways that you can use forms. Really common examples are like the lead intake form I just showed you, or a simple contact us form where people can get in touch with your customer service. But there are so many other use cases. So I'm going to show you some examples next. But first, if you look on your form settings page, you'll find some common use cases for all kinds of industries, which is a really great starting point too. Okay, here are just a few other ideas for using forms. If you need to have a new client sign your terms of agreement, create a form, send it to your new client, and use paragraphs and sections to organize your terms and a signature field to collect client signatures. If you want to gather feedback from customers, send them a customer satisfaction survey to collect responses. You might have the last status in your pipeline called Sent Feedback Form. When someone hits that status, email them a link to your feedback form to fill out. Now you can see their feedback along with the rest of your CRM history. Or create a job application form in LA CRM to post on your hiring page. Collect your applicant's contact details and create file fields for their resume and cover letter. Create a workflow after someone submits that automatically attaches them to your applicant pipeline, and assign them to your team member who handles recruiting, along with a task for them to follow up with this applicant. All right, that is it. That's the basics of forms. Give it a shot now and let us know if you have any questions.